大家好, greetings from the other side of the world, greetings from here in America. 我很高兴今天跟你们一起. So pleased to speak to my fellow educators at Nanjing University. So honored to be teaching the fine students at this great school, and so inspired by three great figures in history. First, a highly beloved teacher at NJU, Pearl Buck, also known as Sai Jianju. She was not just a Nobel Prize winner in literature, she was known as the most influential Westerner to write about China since Marco Polo in the 13th century. Indeed, Marco Polo himself from Italy was the greatest overland explorer traveling the Silk Road by land. And China's own Zheng He was perhaps the greatest naval explorer traveling the Silk Road by sea. Now, why do I mention these three great figures? Well, as an educator in China, I feel a shared connection. After all, we are fellow explorers, fellow educators, and fellow ambassadors of peace, friendship, and goodwill. We all want the West to understand the East, and the East to understand the West. Bridging the two sides. As an educator, is this my purpose, my passion? Absolutely. I am a product of East and West, and that inspires me as a teacher and as a journalist. In fact, that's why I am producing my own documentary series. It's called East Meets West, Journeys Along the Silk Road, with National Geographic's legendary photographer and my friend, Michael Yamashita. I've been working on this passion project for more than 10 years. And this year, I am launching the first of our 9 episodes. And so I'm thrilled that I could share this with my students. Indeed, this past semester, I traveled to the start of the Silk Road, Marco Polo's home in Italy. And I brought my students along, although it was a virtual trip during our classes on Zoom. And I invited Michael Yamashita to answer our students' questions about documentary storytelling. What class was this for? 2 of my classes, International Reporting and Smartphone Storytelling. In addition to these 2, what other classes have I been teaching over the past 3 years? Well, I've also been teaching storytelling and on-camera performance, crisis news, and mobile journalism. Well, during these past 3 years, how has the pandemic affected my teaching? Fortunately, in my first semester, I could live and teach on campus in Nanjing. I fell in love with the city, the university, and of course the students. Later, when the pandemic hit, we had to adapt, and I'm proud that we turned lemons into lemonade. Through my classes, we showed that online teaching offers many advantages. I could still teach interactive, informative, and even entertaining classes. I could still teach students to produce their own creative smartphone videos. I could still help our schools serve foreign students who could not return to China. I could also produce video tutorials about online teaching to help other teachers. I was even invited by Jiangsu TV to give an online lecture to 1.4 million people in China, and I'm so proud this helped our NJU admissions director to recruit the best and brightest students across China and beyond. And just recently, in my last class for international reporting, I said farewell, and several of my students started crying. I mean, I was deeply touched. I never had such an emotional connection in my face-to-face classes. So this shows to me that distance learning has great potential to reach our students' hearts and minds. What are my primary goals for our students? Help them become better storytellers from both sides of the camera. Behind the camera, I want to empower students, give them skills as multimedia producers, brand communicators, and international journalists. Teach them to be mobile journalists who can use their smartphones to do it all, just like a one-man band researching, writing, interviewing, shooting photos and videos, editing, and presenting. And in front of the camera, we want to help students become better communicators for their cause, knowing what to say and how to say it, using their verbal and nonverbal skills, being real, not fake, genuine, not an imitation, authentic and not a copy, being human and not a robot. In sum, performing at their best, being themselves. So, how can I help students to achieve these goals? 4 ways: learning rules of the road, reviewing case studies, producing their own videos, and participating in class from the bottom up. What is another unique way I can help them? Well, for some classes, students produce their own VR or video resume. What is a VR? Well, you know the classic resume or CV, just 1 or 2 pages. It's known in Chinese as jianli. Well, with the VR, students can show and tell their best story, their personal narrative, and be the best communicator for their cause, all in less than 2 minutes. How do students benefit? Well, the VR helps students to craft their personal story, to apply their creative media skills, and to perform as the best messenger for their message. Some students have even told me their VRs help them to apply for internships, grad schools, and jobs. How does NJU benefit? Well, the VR gives the university a great way to promote its name. Indeed, I'm so happy our admissions director is using our videos to recruit. VR can also help our university reach out to future employers. And hopefully, this will help our students find jobs faster and easier than ever. What about students outside our School of Journalism and Communication? How am I helping our school to help other schools? Well, my classes in smartphone storytelling and mobile journalism are open to students from all schools. So I'm really happy that we have attracted a diversity of students from other schools: physics, foreign languages, business, law, liberal arts, environmental science. And what about students from outside China? How am I helping NJU to offer a unique international education? Well, again, I'm thrilled that my classes have attracted students from other countries, including Korea, Japan, Malaysia, Canada, Italy, even Russia and Ukraine. And this diversity of foreign students as well as non-J School students, this helps our own J School students to learn from new voices around the world. And as the world is going through lots of tough times, why do I feel the next few years will be critical for teachers and students alike? I think as we look back on history, the years 1980 to 2020, these years will be seen as a time of great prosperity and peace. 40 years, and what has been the most important bilateral relationship? China and the US. I believe that when both sides work together, the sky is the limit. Sadly, for many reasons, we're facing mistrust, misinformation, misunderstanding. I fear that we are at a turning point, a fork in the road. But I believe the key to world peace and prosperity is mutual understanding, mutual interests, and people-to-people exchange. This is a spirit of peace and goodwill. This was embodied by those 3 great figures in history: Marco Polo, Zheng He, and Pearl Buck. And I hope that I can keep that spirit alive in my own unique way, teaching the best and brightest students in hopes that they can lead a better world for our future generations. Many thanks again to all the distinguished educators who have welcomed me to NJU. And as I say goodbye now, please allow me to share with you the trailer to my documentary series. I hope you enjoy it, and if so, please support and join our journey. Thank you so much for your time. 非常感谢. From west to east, I send you my best wishes. I look forward to seeing you in person. Bye-bye, 再见.
As a Japanese American, I'm interested in the Far East, and now I'm going to get the chance to see a lot of that history come alive. I've always been interested in Marco Polo, But what really got me and deepened my intrigue was reading an article questioning whether he actually made it to China or not. He sailed 40,000 miles across the South China Seas and the Indian Ocean. The only way I can truly understand these great voyages is to make them myself and get a taste of the worlds that Zheng He and his crews must have experienced 600 years ago. I've been here at least a half a dozen times, and every time I come here, I'm just totally blown away by the scale.
For sure, you don't want to shoot where everybody else shoots. Photography is not about equipment. What photography is really about is vision.
2,000 monks. It's as like nothing has changed here in the 700 years.